Hello, and welcome to another episode of the ADickDid podcast. Number 8, the addiction. The addiction to being a dick. Uh, I have a sick, fucking twisted brain that has to go with the funniest option, and sometimes that's the dickhead option, and sometimes it's the option that does nothing but, has negative results in the end, but because it tickles me, I have to go with it. But before we get into the meat of this episode, I wanted to do a segment to date these podcasts by going to whatever the Google Doodle is or something like that. We're gonna do a Google Doodle today, which is celebrating Agnes Varda, born May 30th, 1928, died March 29th, 2019. That's wild. In Paris, France. Today's doodle celebrates Belgian-born French film director, photographer, and artist Agnes Varda, who is widely recognized for pioneering the new wave film movement. Uh, I think that's kind of a cool one to start off with this new segment, celebrating a artist. We love art here, so that's really cool. Uh, we're not gonna spend too much time on that stuff though. I am gonna read off the definition dictionary, the dictionary definition of addicted before we get into the addiction of being a dick. Physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance and unable to stop taking it without incurring adverse effects, like something you're dependent on, given to using, given to abusing, stuff like that. My particular substance is laughter or humor, comedy. If I find humor in something, I have to do the funniest option. Even if it means arguing the other side of a disagreement to the bitter end to absolutely push someone's buttons to not wanting to be my friend anymore. I don't know why I do it, other than it's just the funniest option sometimes. A couple of what's the word? Couple of examples are I try to flick cigarettes out of my mom and friends' mouths because I think cigarettes are fucking disgusting, absolutely fucking nasty. So I definitely try to fucking flick those out of her mouth or my friends' mouths. Uh, Sometimes when we're in the car, I want to try to flick a cigarette out of their mouth through the like whatever the fucking tiny gap of window they like to leave open just to prove a point that I have better accuracy and that they shouldn't be smoking a cigarette with the window that far up. It's fucking disgusting. Don't do that shit. Um, in restaurants, I would do this thing where I'd take the creamers or the little jam packets and I would flick them like they're the little finger footballs. And I'd flick those at people. I definitely knocked over some drinks, hit some people in other booths, pissed some people off with that one. But it if it made me laugh, I didn't stop. That's probably not good. The adverse effects there are definitely pushing friends away, pissing family members off, stuff like that. Uh, Even to long-term ones where it's like my friends in college they wanted to scratch anal in front of the probe, the Ford probe, and I was like, go for it, right anal in front of the probe, knowing full well it would piss my grandma off whenever she decided to like look at it and find it or whatever. And man, it just tickled my soul, made me giggle every day, thinking about how fucking irritated she was gonna be when she read that. And yeah, that's kind of the basis of what I mean by I'm addicted to being a dick. I need to do stuff like that. Maybe I'm narcissist. Maybe I am just a dickhead and an asshole. But that's what this is the way I think about it, so to speak. Uh, yeah. So I wanted to do a little update because I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the episode before I get into my story for this one. Uh, I went back and updated all the thumbnails for the episodes because I want them to all be episode correlated. And for some reason, it republished them all on the same day and out of order, even though I went back and edited them in an order so they should have went back in order. Now the first 7 episodes are out of order, and part of me is laughing because that's such a fuckface thing to have happened, or fuck me face thing to have happened. Is for me to fuck that up, but from 8 going forward, we should not have that problem again. I'm going to upload correlating thumbnails with each episode on the day it releases so that doesn't happen again. I'm sorry that I have inconvenienced the first 7 episodes. That's definitely a dampener on the traction of this podcast, I can feel. But nevertheless, we'll keep moving forward and keep making content. I have continued to make Halo videos, a ranked video every Monday and a casual video every Friday, and now I'm throwing in Firefight Tuesdays or Thursdays. I can't remember what day it is, but I throw a Firefight video in too now that they added that. Um, that's been going pretty well. I hope some of you will hit me up to play some Halo and join in the fun. Honestly, I think the videos would be more entertaining the more people we had, because me by myself is pretty boring. I'm quiet during the whole video because I'm so focused on the game. But when I have someone to bounce ideas and jokes and stuff off of, and like there's chemistry in the team, I think things definitely go a lot better that way. Moving forward with the topic of the episode, though, I have prepared a story I wrote based on my first memory of something I did out of the urge that it would make me laugh, and it definitely had a very adverse negative side effect. My first addicted to being an asshole story. Uh, or always choosing the funniest option. I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and I had a few friends on my street. We would all hang out and play together. But this is like right in the early stages of me being friends with this kid named Bobby. That's what I'm going to call him, anyways. He lived at the end of the street, and we were laughing and joking around about how we could like we were kind of flexible with our hands and could bend our fingers back a ways, but like we were doing weird, finger gestures, doing silly kid shit and making each other laugh, and it like transitioned into us trying to push the tops of our fingers to the back of our hand, and me as a 27-year-old man, like I can't even make a 90-degree angle with my hand anymore with my fingers. Like that shit just hurts. But as a kid, I was kind of bendy and I was getting pretty close just by myself. I was like pushing, pushing. I just couldn't fucking do it. It's pissing me off. So I gave up, and I'm watching him do it, and he's pushing and pushing. He's not even getting really all that close. And I'm like, all right, if I'm getting this close on my own, I bet I can push your fingers all the way back against the back of your hand. And he's like, no, no way. Doubt it. I bet you cannot fucking do it. And I'm like, no, 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 give me your hand. I take his I take his fucking fingers, and like a like in arm wrestling where the guy shouldn't be arm wrestling against the other guy, I just took his fucking fingers and I flattened that shit back against his hand with no remorse, knowing full well that this was probably going to hurt him, but he told me I couldn't do it. So now I was faced with the challenge of I must do it. And I pushed it all the way back to the point of causing, yeah, I oh man, he started crying and screaming. Obviously, you're like like a 6, 7 year old kid. Shit's not gonna feel good. And like I remember that like I felt good and like joy. I felt laughter inside me when I did it because he told me I couldn't do it, and I didn't really feel the empathy or the remorse until he was like gone and I was standing there by myself. And it's terrible. It's so fucked up to think about. But that is probably the first occurrence of that happening in my life where I just had to do what they said I couldn't do, and because it was the funniest option was to just basically break this poor kid's fingers. Uh, he's fine now. I think he plays bagpipes, uh, or something. I always see him running around the neighborhood in like a navy shirt or something, but I don't think he went into the army. Pretty sure he got into like bad stuff. Who knows? Somewhere around the age of like 16 to 17, I don't think we really talked anymore. Probably because I was an asshole, and yeah, that would explain that for sure. This is also why I don't wonder anymore why I can't hold on to long-term friendships and relationships. It's because I know I push people away. I do a lot of this shit to amuse myself, and a lot of the times the backlash is worse than I expect, but it's also not anything new. Another interesting story that kind of goes along with that is my one of my best friends, um, Mage, is we're gonna that's his gonna be his name for this. Uh, we met in like third grade, and we were like really good friends. We would always try to like fucking fuck with each other in class. We hung out after class. We'd like do all these stupid silly games. And then like somewhere around the beginning of middle school to the end of middle school, he started developing like real bully traits. Like not doing stuff to be like to make himself laugh either. Like just stuff to be a bully. Like he almost got in a couple of fights with friends of mine. He did a lot of stuff. And there was this like I remember one vivid moment where we're leaving a class and he's like kind of picking on me being a dick, and I like slapped my fucking arm into the middle of his chest. And I was like, dude, you just need to like knock it off. You can't be like this. If you like you, you're not funny. You're being a dick kind of thing. Trying to give him like a reality check, so to speak. And a teacher, one of my favorite teachers to this day, Captain Hook, as we would call him. His name was William Hook. Great teacher. He would he like stepped in and tried to like ask what was going on, and we told him, or like I told him I was just standing up for myself basically, and he's like, oh whatever, cool, whatever, move on. And I remember we got into this we got into these fights a lot because he started being a bully, and I took things probably way more seriously than I should have at that age. Like I feel like we were both in too far extremes of our for our age range. Like I was taking things seriously like an adult in middle school, and he was taking things like not seriously, like probably 2 grades back. And not that he wasn't intelligent or smart. He was definitely better like grades wise, book smart, better than me in school. But that's just kind of where we were, I guess, personality wise. And I remember having to like push him away for a couple of years, a while, and I think I became addicted to that feeling of pushing people away because I got really good at it. I got really good at like reading people and how I could push people away in a way that would like not be upfront brutal and like savage hurtful, but a way to like almost con people out of my lives. And I know that's so fucked up and like self-sabotagey, but I got kind of like I almost got an adrenaline rush knowing that I could at any point just push people away. And thinking about that sounds like kind of hurts my own feelings a little bit that I got into that. But uh, he's he's probably one of the strongest forces in my life still. We don't talk often, but we have one of those friendships where if we connect, we connect, we link, we're the same, we're all good. Probably because he grew up a lot in those years where I pushed him away, and he came back with real maturity and apologized and like made up for what he did, and he changed too. He didn't just like say a bunch of shit. he actually became a better person. He didn't really bully me anymore. He didn't bully any of my friends. And to this day, that's probably one of the most respected memories I have of my friend is his ability to see his own faults and actually change for the better. I don't see that in a lot of people. Just out of my own pure curiosity too, while recording this episode, I tried Googling and doing some research for if that's like a thing, being addicted to being an asshole or whatever. And unfortunately, Google didn't really wield any good results for that topic. But I know I've heard of a few comedians and other public figures who kind of have similar outcomes or upbringings where they just have this need to do the funniest thing. It's not even an option, really. It's just you are presented with a decision that could be completely normal and just move on with it, or you can do the funnier option and things just go absolutely haywire and you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen next. That shit, I I live for that, and I know there's other people out there too. I uh, I really hope that someone listening to this relates or like yeah has the same issue so they can comment, let me know, message me on Instagram something because I want to get to know other people's perspectives on this topic and uh, what you go through when you try to stop yourself, because stopping myself is something I can't find a good coping mechanism for doing. Usually I get like my best effort at this point is someone will say something or put me on the edge of where it's my move, and my move is either the normal option or the funny option. The best or close I've come to fixing that is I snicker or laugh, and then they always ask what. And it's like, I don't want to tell you what, because if I tell you what I'm thinking, I'm gonna start that fight. I'm gonna start that nonsense, like chaos, just from my own sick, twisted, demented thoughts that I think are funny, but I know you're gonna get pissed off about. And I hate when they ask what, because I just want to be like, please don't make me explain. I don't want you to be mad at me right now, but this is what I want to do. And then they're always mad at me, and I'm like, come on, I didn't even do it. I'm just explaining because you asked. Yeah, it's a whole fucking thing. A quick little one before I close this episode out is the other day I was at work, or I was at a place where I get paid, and I was outside about to smoke a joint, and my boss goes, "If that's a blunt, I'm gonna smack it out of your fucking hand." And I go, "It's not a blunt, it's a joint." And just 'cause the pure need to be funny, the pure need for the sarcasm, the jokesterness inside me needed that moment. And he just looked at me like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you. That's not cool." And I'm like, "Fine, whatever. I'll put on my joint. Like I'm not gonna fucking smoke it in 20 minutes when you're not outside. Whatever. Not like you haven't been fine with it before, but whatever." Didn't really bother me that bad. But I did sulk like a sad puppy for a little bit. Uh, but that argument, I needed it. I don't know why, because I really wanted him to be like, "What's the fucking difference?" I wanted to be like, "Well, a blunt is a fucking weed wrapped in tobacco. A fucking joint is just weed wrapped in wrapping paper. Fucking backwoods is fucking weed and tobacco wrapped in fucking tobacco or whatever." Just to be like the sassy little smart kid dickhead, and I don't know why, but like the devil's advocate in me needed to have that argument. Yeah. But I think we're gonna close out the episode with just like a little bit of a call to action. I'd really appreciate if you guys could either respond to this episode telling me what you think of the length of these things, what you think of the topics. I would really appreciate that. If you could get in contact with me with any information, that would be awesome for like feedback. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you want to check out some of my Halo content, that's on my YouTube channel. YouTube at like Raising Lazarus, I think is how you find it. Um, I also have my art website still up, uh, martellart.myshopify.com, martellart addickshopify.com to get resin, paintings, all sorts of other art that I do. What else? There was something else I wanted to add to this. Oh, so I'm definitely gonna do the episode thumbnails. I kind of want feedback on that as well. Much appreciated. Also, I'm gonna have intro music and outro music coming in season 2, which will be starting on episode 12. So we have a couple episodes left before I start a new season. But until then, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the ADickDid podcast, and I really hope to catch you in the next one next Wednesday. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your day. Peace.